Hey, welcome to CyberBulls. So, big day tomorrow. This time tomorrow, at this very moment, we're going to start hearing Tesla's Q3 earnings call. And I think that it's a big one because in my mind, it's going to be a fork in the road. It's going to let us know whether or not, Tesla's going to make it out past this Q3, Q4, or it's going to be a lot more pain for the next 2 quarters. We're going to hear from the bulls what they think. But I think we're all, pins and needles waiting for the guidance, which is what we think is the most important. Some of the topics we'll cover today is Elon is going to be on the call tomorrow, and we're going to hear from everybody if they think that that's actually a good thing or not. Let's review the different earnings estimates from the various retail estimates as well compared to the street. Let's go through each of the questions that's going to be asked after the earnings call, and then we're going to just have a little bit more fun as well with some of the things that poor old Elon has been doing for us. Welcome, everybody. So thank you very much. We've got a new guest bull with us. This is Jeff Lutz. You've seen him before, and we just wanted to welcome him on board. Hey, Jeff, how are you doing?
Good. How do I sound? Okay.
You sound great. Better than Christian ever does. Sound perfect. Okay, so let's get started with what's happening. How did what happened to the stock today, Christian? Why did it fall 2 days ago, but then it rose yesterday and it was flat today? What do you think is happening?
Yeah, so I was out a lot today. Go ahead. So I didn't
Twitter.
look at it. Oh, sorry.
Twitter.
Yeah, so I was out a lot today, so I didn't see everything. I know we were green, and then we went red. Some Apple news came out that shook the market a little bit, but it looks like I think we recovered pretty strong in the green again for everyone. Earnings has been good. The bank earnings has come out, but specifically Tesla, I think it's all about tomorrow. There's positioning happening, but it really, it had that drop. It recovered yesterday with a great day. Today, it's just kind of flat, I think. Again, I don't have I didn't see where it closed, but tomorrow is going to be the day, and everything, I think the stock's direction is all going to be tomorrow and what is said on the call and the guidance, and everybody knows that, and we have to wait for it, and that's it. And till then, we're in basically kind of a mode of wait for this call, right? I don't think we're going to see any big moves tomorrow. Maybe you see some green into the call, maybe, thinking it's going to be a beat, but I could see that fading into the earnings as it gets closer. So we'll see. It'll be a great day and a fun day.
Yeah. So what do you think about the normal, buy in the rumor, sell on the news? Is that going to happen tomorrow?
Again, it's anyone's guess, but this for me, since Tesla's trading, the valuation has come in, it's trading 75 times trailing. I think if they beat, this is not sell the news. This is buy the news, because if they come in with the number that multiple is going in the 60s into a Q4, which is going to be another record earnings, we think. So I mean, anything could happen, but if it dips on a good news report or even a so-so report, Tesla's valuation just keeps coming in more into this Q4 that we think, again, is going to be another record, 400,000 plus. I really don't care about estimates. I know the Wall Street will, but long term, as Tesla keeps growing earnings year over year over year, if they keep missing, I don't care if they miss 10 cents, eventually this multiple is going to get so compressed that it's going to be spring loaded.
I'm so concerned about what's going to happen tomorrow. So Jeff, Jeff, are you buying more stock tomorrow? You just told me before the call started that you are right below Leo Kogwan in terms of the number of shares that you own of Tesla. So what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know how many steps below, maybe millions of steps below. But, he's a great shareholder. Tesla's a lot of great shareholders. I mean, this is a very complicated earnings season for Tesla.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen so many variables going on, because you've got the current quarter, which should, have record deliveries, record production. We know that. Should have great earnings, and then you've got the guidance, and the guidance is strange a bit. I mean, because you've got current quarter we're in, and then you've got this cliff coming with potentially with IRA in the U.S. and other incentives in China, and then you've got the first half, which should be tremendous given the headwind or the kind of the wind back with the IRA. So it's complicated. Then you have a looming recession on the horizon. So I've never seen so many variables. I think the further you go out in guidance is dangerous. But I think barring any, major force majeure events, they should be able to guide quite strong. It's probably one of the more complicated earnings season. Then you mix in Twitter transaction, then you mix in buyback or no buyback, and it's really one of the more complex earnings seasons we ever had.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and just make it easy for us. Let's go one step at a time. Okay. First question for you guys is, Tesla Economics sent this note out, says Elon has been waiting for this moment to show the world that Tesla has what it takes to come out of this recession and come out even stronger. Elon, will you be on this call this Wednesday? And he replied back saying yes. What do you guys think? Is that a good news that he's going to be on the call or not?
I was going to ask you, is that good or bad? So
I think it's good news. Okay, yeah.
It's fine. So I'll go real quick. So this is me. This is not Elon fan. This is not Tesla Uber Bull. This is just me being practical. I want a focused earnings call. I want Elon locked in about an earnings call. I don't want rants on how hard it is. I don't want this or that. I want him to talk about the business. If there's stuff about the business, let us know. But I really want the team to lock in. I don't want to hear a lot of laughs. I want to hear it. Serious conference call that is taken with, I think shareholders really want that. We really want to hear management state the case, and I want Elon to be super focused. So that's just a general statement, but that's what the kind of call I'm looking for. This is like the stock has been hammered, and this is serious business now. There's a lot of money moving around, and there's a lot of positioning, and there's a lot of Wall Street hate towards Tesla right now, and I think they got to come and deliver the goods. So that's what I'm looking for. Seriousness.
Yeah. So doesn't he normally read a prepared statement? And
but then they go off in questions and they can josh with each other. I'm saying I want the whole call to be like a business call. You can have some fun with it, but I want business.
So, he had previously said he'll only be on a call if there's something important to say. So I think that, I don't know, let's again, we're just going to make guesses if we think that it's about the buyback or something to do with Twitter or anything like that. So right now, it really is just about guidance of what's going to happen and what they see with China demand, right?
Yeah, I think there's I think he could address more than the one sentence in the P&D statement regarding deliveries and how those are being managed going forward. That could also be a Zach statement on the call, and really their thoughts on kind of demand moving forward with the IRA. Model Y is still going to be the best-selling car by unit volume next year. I think there's a lot of things that they could go into and build confidence for the investors. But coming into the earnings call, the stock's down 27% over the last month. I think a lot of bad news is in more than normal. It doesn't mean though with this stock that there can't be wild movements post earnings in the call. So be interesting to see. But I agree with Christian that it really has to be kind of a focus on earnings growth.
Jeff, you need to work on your volume. Apparently it sounds low and muffled, and it's really low. Okay, so this is Christian. Let's go through this list here let's go down the expected. Let's see if I can figure out how to make this larger. There you go. Yeah. So this is a table that shows the various forecasts from both the retail investors as well as the institutional investors and what they expect to happen. They look at revenue, earnings per share, as well as the automotive gross margin percentage. So if I look down this list, Gary Black says he expects $22 billion, $22.3 billion of revenue. Dave Lee's 21.2, 22.2, Rob Myers 22.4, James Stevenson 22.4. So it's all around the 22, and Wall Street is also at 22.0. So those are record revenues. But if we are just, 0.3 or 0.2 or 0.1 away from the expectation of 22.0, is that matter, or is it first of all, which of these three matter the most? Is it, I know you'll say earnings.
Yeah, it's earnings.
earnings
matters. Tesla,
okay.
To me, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go into it. So to me, revenue the revenue will come. It's all about the bottom line for Tesla. because the revenue is going to be the revenue. The revenue is always, it beats a little bit or it comes in. If that earnings goes up, like Matt Smith, all these guys on this chart are great at forecasting Tesla. They've done a great job over the years doing it. And the fact that Matt Smith, who is a conservative forecaster, is so high, and you have, James Stevenson up there, and, they're all above Wall Street. It gives me, good confidence that we're going to beat. And I think if we get like a 20 or 30% beat on the bottom line, like some of this is showing, the stock will react well. Even if revenue comes in a slight miss here or there, like it's all about the earnings and the guidance. So that's everything. Yeah.
Let's go through the
gross margin.
Yeah.
Gross margin.
Let's go through the earnings. So earnings per share non-GAAP. Okay. So the Gary Black says is $1.09. Dave Lee's $1.12. Rob Myers $1.21. James Stevenson is $1.27, and Matt Smith is $1.32. So James Stevenson and Matt Smith are a lot higher, and this is compared to the Wall Street number of $1.02.
Yeah. Like Matt Smith's a 30% beat. Matt's a 30% beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
32.
And now Dave Lee's only at $1.12, so Gary Black's at $1.09. Yeah. So how big of a beat does it have to be to really make this change the narrative, make this good news, make the stock starts, like you said, buy in the news rather than sell in the news?
I just think it has to be a normal beat. It doesn't have to be a blowaway. They just beat Wall Street's estimates. The gross margins are, again, I think Wall Street's at like what, 25% on the margins. So if they come in high 20s or low 30s, like that's going to be great. And then it's all about the guide, right? Is there a demand problem? I think the stock is in neutral. I mean, there's other things with Twitter and everything, but if Tesla could clear up this demand problem and say, we can make every car and we can sell every car, there's not a demand problem, and explain what they're doing with the wave and how they're going to go forward. If it's delivering the cars at the end of the quarter more efficiently to help the bottom line, I think that'll be fine. As long as management says there's not a demand issue, I think we're okay. And it just has to be a beat. It doesn't need to be a blowout. Again, Jeff was right. The stock has come in a lot. The multiple is compressed a lot. This is still a growth company like we don't see at this big market valuation. So I just think a simple beat and a simple guide to 50%, or even if it's not 50%, a good explanation of what it'll be, and maybe a little bit of inference into 23. And I think that'll go a long way to stabilizing everything.
So automotive gross margin, excluding the regulatory credits, you were saying 30%, but no one is at 30% anymore except for Matt Smith. Everybody from Gary Black on the way up to James Stevenson's at 28.9, 28.4, 28.2, all the way to 32.6, which is only Matt Smith. Wall Street is at 27.7% automotive gross margin. So it used to be a bunch of people thought we'd hit 30, but now only Matt Smith's hoping that it's going to be 32.
Right. I think because of Q2 with the shutdowns and everything, and the gross margins came in, Wall Street's actually lowered the bar here for Tesla, right? Tesla should be able to jump over this, in my opinion. The only thing, and maybe Jeff could speak to it, he's better understanding at this, how much, Jeff, and I would love, or Herbert, you could ask this question, but what I want to know is how much does the overproduction and not delivered in the quarter, how much does that hurt the margins that those cars were not delivered and we have that big surplus of production over the delivery? Will that hit it much, or I don't know if anyone wants to talk about that. That'd be great to know.
I mean, from a utilization perspective, it's good. They use their factories, in excess. It'll hit them from a cash perspective for sure. From a margins perspective, it shouldn't be too bad. From a margins perspective, they've been raising their prices over the last, call it 12 to 18 months. A lot of those orders are hitting this quarter. How's my audio? Is it better?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. And so I think those ASP raises are going to really help on the margin side. The only thing that was probably a little bit of a hit was the Shanghai upgrades that occurred in July and parts of August. That's factory downtime. So that could hit a little bit. But yeah, those would be the only ones. And then of course the ramp of Berlin and Texas.
Now, would it help though on those margins that Texas probably did and Berlin did more cars? Will that help as opposed to Q2 doing fewer?
Yeah, I mean they're a nominal burn on max gross margins until those factories fill up. But as they fill up, they're filling up more efficiently as those cars are being built more efficiently. So at some point, there's going to be a crossover where you're building a more efficient car while they're growing volumes to max volume in those factories. But right now, we're not at either of those points, but we're closer than the prior quarter. Okay, here in the feedback.
Okay, so anything else we want to talk about the estimates versus street? I mean, it's the good news is that the street does look like that they're low. That's a great thing. Their estimates is $1.02. So we should beat that, right? That's going to be straightforward, right? Right?
We should. Who knows?
Right?
Jeff, I mean, do you think we're gonna have a beat?
Yes.
I think you said we're gonna have a beat, but how much? Do you think it's going to be in that $1.20, or do you think it's just going to be a slight beat?
I mean, I think it could be, I think it'll be a slight beat. Tesla's handled earnings quite well over the last couple of years. So they've been beating. So I'm expecting to beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Herbert. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go through the next thing, which is like the questions that they're going to ask, right? So what we've said here is there's the earnings, right? We're going to hear what they said, and right now we still think it's going to be record across the board. That's step one, check mark one, record across the board. I don't think anybody, even the analysts, are saying that that's not going to happen, despite the lower delivery numbers. Okay. Step mark two is the earnings going to be a beat or not a beat? And it looks like it's going to be, but we don't know how much. And then 3 would be if they had a guidance of 50%, but if they're only at 40%, people are going to be disappointed, right? And the guidance is what's key. So, and then the next thing after that would be the questions and how they answer these particular questions. So we can go this list, but did you guys already give your opinions on the guidance, what you think they're going to say, and softening in demand, no softening in demand?
So they have to talk about the demand very carefully, right? Because if they talk about it in the wrong way, it's not going to work. So I don't think the 50% is I think Wall Street's already priced in the stock. That's why the stock has come down, that we're not going to get 50% this year. Now, I would love to be wrong on that, but I believe the 45% or the 40% is being thrown around now. So if Tesla wants to reset expectations maybe in this environment, that's fine. I think the stock is reflecting they're not going to hit the 50%, and if they do, look out. I think the upside. If they reaffirm 50% for this year, I think that's amazing. I don't know that that's going to happen, but if they do, it's amazing. But
so they need to reaffirm 50%, meaning the fourth quarter has to be over 400.
Yeah, no, way over 4. High 4s, right? It's like 4.6. I don't know what it is. It's high. Yeah, if they did that, that'd be great. Yeah, it's in the high 4s. So it's possible. I mean, I guess, but I think Troy Teslake put it at like 1%. So, I mean, and he had a 400,000 for Q4. I've seen other bulls say he's way off on this. And I follow Troy and I like his work, but he does change it every so often, every few days. And by the time the end of the quarter, he could sway 30, 40,000. So that just throwing that out there. But I think the street has already priced in that they're not going to hit 50% this year. So we got to hear how they talk about it.
Isn't that actually a good news? I want Troy to put down 400s, reset expectation, make it really low, let them beat it, instead of us all saying how incredible this is going to hit 500,000, and then it doesn't. And even if it hits 470, everybody's going to go, oh, let's sell the stock. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, okay. You sound all right to me.
No. You're listening to him on Twitter, Christian. You got to listen to him on Instagram. Okay. But somebody said it sounds better now, so keep going. Oh, they can't hear you, Jeff. They can't hear you at this point. You lost your audio. Okay, so the thing about the guidance, which is quite interesting to me, is that first of all, they said, well, it's 50% is what we think. Like I don't remember exact words, but basically, it's on average, it's going to be in 50%. They're not saying it's going to be 50% every single year. Having said that, a lot of people pointed out that if you can't get 50% this year, and you can't do it next year, what's the likelihood you're going to do it when it gets harder and the law of large numbers come on board? You can argue that either way, of course, because there's also once you build many gigafactories, then it can exponentially grow. But it's true, they have to hit the 50% this year because we're all been saying that the reason why is because of this amazing demand by EVs that continues to grow. Percentage-wise, we're at 6% of the U.S. market buying new cars are being bought as EV, and we know that it's going to just skyrocket because of the IRA, because of just the high gas prices and so forth. So, but it's but then there's very specific things that are happening right now. So let me jump to this. There's this quote, or there's this thing that Gary Black said. Let me share that screen where he was basically saying that, oops, there it is. Let me show this. So Gary Black is saying that there is this, it's trading at the low 50x of earnings per share and 37 of 23. This is PE ratios. And these are the lowest PEs, forward PEs, ever since the COVID. And it's depressed because of third quarter delivery shortfall and the Twitter overhang. Those are the two main reasons he gives it. Yeah. And he said both of these factors should lift in the next 1 or 2 quarters. So this issue with the guidance is there, and he just sent out a tweet today and he clarified he does not believe that there's actually a softening in demand in China. So a lot of people thought that he was saying that there is. He says there is not either. So these are the two main things, and he believes that these will be resolved within the 2 quarters.
Yeah, I'll just say a couple points. So I think, to be fair to Tesla, they did say 50%, but Elon did say it might fluctuate. We killed it last year. Didn't we grow 70 or 80%? And no one expected that. There has been times in the past where Elon says maybe on the low end it's 40%. So I think, again, it's all about the way they nuance the call. That's one thing. And as far as I've been beating this drum for 6 months, to me, Tesla is cheap. Again, that's Wall Street estimates. Wall Street the earnings estimates on Wall Street have been terrible. They literally have raised it 50, 60, 70, 80% year over year. They're always playing catch up. So those earnings estimates that Gary Black is citing, to me, will come in low because the revenue grows, the actual profit grows much faster than the revenue is growing. So as these factories come online and as they get more efficient, as Jeff was saying, we're going to see more drop to the bottom line, which I believe now Tesla, with all the innovation, I get it with FSD and bot and all that. I put that to the side for a moment, and I say this is an earnings story now. If they can continue to grow more earnings 50, 60, 7% year over year, even if there's a slowdown in units sold, which I think they can do, this is still great value here. So,
okay. You've been saying this for a long time. I think every one of us agree that Q3, Q4 next year is all going to be great. I think most of us are looking forward to Q3, Q4 this year and Q1 next year.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about this year. It's value this year.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just put it on the table right now. Does any of us think that there's a softening in China demand that's going to show up in Q4 this year? Whether it's because of the shifting in purchasing because of this tax credit, or in general, that because of the recession that's happening and the strength of the dollar, those kind of things. Do you believe that there's a softening in demand in China? Christian?
So I do not. I believe that the story with these incentives, some Chinese people, population pulled back, and Tesla on the fly, they didn't reduce prices. They sent the cars at the higher margins to Europe rather than playing that game. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe there is. I don't believe there is. I believe there's enough demand in China to continue going. But I'd love to hear what Jeff has to say on this.
I've done a lot of business in China, and pricing is viral. The sentiment around pricing is viral. It moves faster than it moves between people, maybe in other countries. So they want to feel like they're getting the best deal. And I believe that there was sentiment saying that there would be further price reductions that could be coming. So I don't believe that there's a soft. I believe the total EV to ICE sales is just going to continue to grow and outstrip that in China.
Okay. There you go. We're all. Sorry, I didn't say what I thought. I do not believe that there's a softening in demand in China. I agree that it's just a move. We're going to find out tomorrow, and let's just hope that that is the case. And I think that that's the biggest story. I think that that's the one. If that is an issue, all bets are off for the next 6 months. I think that's even bigger than the Twitter overhang. So, all right, let's go to the next topic, which is the questions that's going to be asked, right? So often they do their pre-recorded kind of written statements, and then we're all carefully watching what they say, and then they ask these questions. So these are the top questions that the retail investors had voted up in the Say Technology, and they've typically have taken the top questions from there. So the first question is, do you still expect 50% annualized growth for the foreseeable future? And specifically the Chinese domestic market. And then, do you expect to cut vehicle prices or offer incentives? So, I actually don't have a problem if they cut demand, if they use their demand levers and actually make it happen. Somebody said, and I don't know if this is true, they pointed out that Chinese gross margin in Tesla's cars in the China market is not as high as a gross margin as we have here in the US. And they don't have as much of a margin to bring down in terms of sales price. So what's your thoughts on that?
I haven't seen that broken down. Yeah, I haven't seen that broken down by factory. But in terms of Tesla output from any factory, the most efficient right now in terms of per car built would be out of Shanghai. But in terms of to pricing in China, I've not seen that data that says that they have a margin problem or they don't have the room. In fact, over the last year, they've raised pricing, into record months in China. So I believe this is a pricing demand lever that just normal course of business that any company deals with.
If they did lower prices, if they did start pulling some of these demand levers that they might have, increase insurance, put some more perks in, how's the market going to react to that?
I think good. I mean, I think we keep hearing Wall Street's worried about prices are too high, and they think that's going to cause the demand. If Tesla, Elon's already said embarrassingly high. He's already given the out to bring the prices down. So They haven't done it, which also is a tell that for meet demand, they haven't done it yet. Now, maybe they will, but they haven't done it yet. So two things are happening. Either Tesla is going to tell us a lot on the call about what they're going to their strategy going forward with the demand, whether it's going to be pricing or they still have so much that they can't reduce costs because they still have a backlog to get through. Or they're going to say, with the economy being what it is, or maybe because commodities will come down. Elon did mention about his costs coming down. Maybe he can use that as the excuse to bring down the cost of the car because the inputs that Tesla is getting are coming down too. So again, we'll see. This is all speculation. I think this is going to be one of the most anticipated Tesla calls that I'm going to be on the edge of my seat because we haven't even got to the buyback. Like there is so many things to go through here that I'm actually. It's going to be crazy.
If AI Day was our Super Bowl, what is tomorrow? Is it just a conference?
This is the Super Bowl. I think AI Day was like the Pro Bowl. This is the Super Bowl.
Well, okay. So is there actually a scenario that aren't we expecting that Giga Shanghai is going to actually start producing more cars? And if they are producing more cars in Q4, because of the extra line that they put in and the efficiencies that they put in, then they're going to have to sell that. And if there is a softening demand, so could they not also say things like, yes, there is no softening demand, but we're going to go ahead and lower the price and so forth because we're producing so much more? Is that even something to be thinking about, or am I completely way off base here?
No, I mean, I think you're thinking about the right things. This is a multivariant issue. Yeah. And anytime somebody tries to attack says, I saw this one thing and I think it's demand, I think that's the easiest thing to kind of hang on to. But you've got so many variables with them increasing capacity, with price changes, with price increases due to inflation. And so it's a multivariant problem. I think we are waiting for the conference call back to Christian's point, on the edge of our seat to really understand how those factors come together.
Okay, next question that the retail investors are asking that they're going to answer tomorrow. We keep hearing of the dire energy crisis in Germany this winter. What are Tesla's plans to combat power cuts? And will there be any delays in the ramp up in production from Giga Berlin? I'm shocked. I don't know why, but this is number 2 in the most important questions that people are wanting to have answered. Is that what? Is this something we should be worried about?
I mean, I think it's something to be concerned about, but these are all these black swan events, right? Nuclear war. Is Europe going to freeze this winter? Is China? Like, we have all these macro worries, right? And for good reason. But I always believe when these outlandish statements, I think Germany has what they need to do business, right? That is my thought. I haven't seen, and I've read articles where I've seen they're going to be fine and they have excess of what they need to run the plants and all the Germany plants. So I don't think it's an issue, but I mean, it's great for them to address it. I think all these questions are basically around one thing. They want to know, is there a problem with Tesla growing their car deliveries at 50% or now maybe 40%? Is there this cliff coming that no one's seeing because of the price increases, because of the weak economy, because of interest rates going up, which is going to make it more, loans more costly to get these cars. And I think everyone's on the edge of their seats to hear what Tesla management has to say about what is the demand of their vehicles. And I think it all boils down to that. That's it.
I would agree. And they consistently beat their production capacity, their announced capacity. I think if you looked in the prior, it was a P&D, or was the prior earnings, they had Shanghai at 750K output, and we know they're at 1 million right now in terms of output if you or extrapolate 1 month's output. So they consistently beat their capacity promises. So if there's a problem in Germany, I think it's a rational question. You don't want one of your 4 factories to go offline. But they are in the biggest factories. They're really beating their capacity promises.
Gotcha. So that's right. So it's like almost like a Shanghai COVID scenario, but now in Germany because of the power cuts, and that's why it's important. What do you guys take of this move of the production of the batteries not being done in Giga Germany anymore, but rather moving to Giga Texas? Is that because more to do with the fact that they can't produce it in Germany, or is it more to do with, hey, Tesla realized we can take advantage of the IRA if we produce batteries in the U.S. Let's go ahead and move all of that here.
That's my take. I mean, the capacity to build these facilities out and the CapEx that goes inside of it is very long lead time, and I believe they have capacity on order for Berlin. But as the details of this IRA emerged, I mean, if you're running this company and you could move this CapEx over to the US and you can get $35 per kilowatt hour of cell production and an additional $10 per kilowatt hour from the government to your company or your point of production in the form of a rebate, you'd want to maximize those benefits.
I love having you on, Jeff.
Yeah, me too.
No, because I have all these wild ass guesses, and you're validating it for me. I would never get that from Zed or Christian. They're like, "Well, you're so dumb. Where'd you come with that idea?"
Of the puzzle, they have the other pieces. So glad to help.
I'm just coming up with wild ass guesses. All right. Next one is, how is the production planning going for the...
Herbert. Love you
I know
too.
you do. I love you too, buddy. We're making up. How is production planning going for the Cybertruck? What is the initial phase 1 production target? When can we expect an update on pricing and final design? We actually saw those 2 Cybertrucks in Texas covered up. Then just recently, we actually saw a real, I think they called it the production level the actual car. It's there. These are good news, good signs, right? So people are excited. And so for me, if they can give some guidance of what's happening with Cybertruck, the last we heard was he said that it's planned for Q3, so June of next year. It speaks to 2 big things for me, right? 4680 ramp, because the Cybertrucks are going to use 4680, or actually, are they going to be able to use 2170s if there is a delay in that? Are they going to have a 2170 variant? or it has to be 4680. And if they say that it's on track still, then that means the 4680 ramp is going up.
Right.
Yeah, I can start. And then I've called Cybertruck the recession buster, not only for, I mean,
Okay.
for Tesla. I mean, in terms of when you have a new product entry in your company and you're running existing products, and then you've got a new product entry that's got really high demand, really high pre-order pent up, excitement around it, that could literally bust through any kind of demand concerns at the revenue and unit level for the company. It's all going to be a question of, is it on time and what their ramp velocity can be. The nice things that I was very happy to see the two shells or the two vehicles under wraps in Texas. I'm not sure if the production unit that was shown was a new production unit or from an old picture. I've seen different things on Twitter about that. But the point is this is moving along. The fact that we're starting to see duplicates of the device means they're doing more testing. And to me, this feels really good from as it goes through kind of the XVT phase, we call it, in terms of prototyping into production. So I feel really good. I think it's a recession buster.
Recession buster. You just threw out that name, but you didn't explain. You can't just say recession buster and then not talk about it. Why is it a recession buster?
Because in a climate where there are concerns about demand of products that have been in production for 2, 3, 4 multiple years, when you deliver a new product to market with a lot of pent up demand, that could basically bust through any of those concerns that you've got a demand issue for your products.
Yeah, I agree. Just to follow up on Jeff. So this is like the real deal call. Like if they can move up Cybertruck production or anything good about that, being a new product, there's so much demand for this thing. Everybody wants it. So that would be a great catalyst for the stock, more than all these superficial. This is money in the pocket, right? A new product ready to roll with 1 million requests to have it already, whatever, down payments. So, and then what I'll say is just very generally, because Jeff's doing a great on all the specifics. Remember 2019, we had the bad Q1 because the ships were on the boat to Europe, the deliveries tanked, the stock tanked, and then we did very well. We pivoted to FSD. They had the meeting on FSD, the big Karpathy presentation, all that right after that Q1. It's the same type of setup, right? We had deliveries miss here. We don't know exactly what's going on. We had the AI day. I think for Wall Street and big money, this is put up or shut up time for Tesla. What are you doing with these new products? Are we going to see a Cybertruck next year? And when are we going to see it? What is your demand? This is all proof in the pudding. No more pie in the sky. This is what can you deliver? What are you? I know you've been working on it. Now it is, we want more specifics on how are you going to keep this demand going? So I don't know how management does it exactly. And I believe in the team, but this is like put up or shut up time. That's why I think the valuation is coming with a lot of other reasons, Twitter and all this other stuff. But this is put up or shut time, and we need to have a concise, clear conference call that goes through all these things. I think Zach Kirkhorn is going to be very key here. I hope he's allowed to speak Wall Street talk about margins and about headwinds and about demand, because I think he does a very good job of talking. I like to hear him talk. I love Elon, but Elon, he sometimes goes off on different things, and it's hard. We know it's hard. Manufacturing is super hard. These headwinds, the supply, we all know it's hard. He's told us it's hard. We need to know what you're doing and what are we looking forward to, rather than a rant about difficulties. We know it's difficult. It's very difficult to do this. But so that's the setup I see.
Love it. Okay, so what I heard from both of you guys is that if they come out with Tesla Semi, some sort of guidance with Tesla Semi and Cybertruck, it speaks to several things. One is that the 4680 ramp is moving along, but then it also could be a battle, you got a buster against recession. So even during a heavy recession for the economy, the Semi and the Cybertruck will still sell. That's what I heard you say. I can see that for the Semi, right? I can see that the Semi would be something that corporations will buy because they need to actually reduce prices of the cost of the gas and so forth. I'm not so sure about the Cybertruck. But because of the demand is so high with so many people waiting in line for it, and it is a very expensive product, maybe that they will still be able to sell that in numbers versus a softening for Model 3 and Y, if that might happen.
Jeff is right. I agree with the Cybertruck. I'm not a huge I love the Cybertruck, but I'm not like a big truck guy. Like I love the Model 3 and the Y, but he's right because Cybertruck is a new product and people, from what I hear, want this thing so bad that will carry you through tough times because you're going to be ramping that and your demand is going to be outstripping any supply for probably years. So I agree with Jeff. It is a recession buster if they can get the production going and start selling units. Yeah, absolutely.
One more comment is that they've got pricing power as well. They haven't released the pricing.
Yeah.
So they have this demand lever. They have this huge pent up demand, haven't released pricing, input prices coming down. They've designed the car to be much, much fewer parts and more simply put together. So they've also got pricing power on the Cybertruck, which helps in these times.
Okay.
True.
I'm hoping that they'll say that they'll have at least 8 semis this quarter or by the end of this year. And then just some sort of statement about the Cybertruck is on track for June of next year. If they say it's going to be delayed past that, then yeah, it's going to be,
And I just want to say one more thing. We're talking about what we want to hear from Tesla. And I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be a shareholder, but I'm also trying to, I love the company and the team. So I don't want to be unfair to them. I know it's a tough macro and there's a lot of companies that are struggling. Tesla is still putting up incredible growth numbers that no one, I don't think, Wall Street believed. And you see by the raising of the earnings estimates month after month after month, trying to catch up to where Tesla is going. And then, even if they don't meet, they're still killing it on the bottom line. And Wall Street's been playing catch up with them all year. So I think the stock price down here is unjustified. I see great value here. And I think they've done a great job. It's just we expect so much. And Elon puts expectations so high for this company, which is great, but it's also to the detriment. And what I would love to Elon do when he pulled out Model Y trick out of his hat and he said, Model Y will be, and he did that little look, and it came way before Wall Street was expecting. And you saw the stock love that, right? A little bit more, what's the old term? Under promise and over deliver rather than over deliver and under promise. I think we need that on this call.
Okay, let's do a quick detour in terms of a question. So our friend Xander is texting me saying you should talk about this topic. But before I do, Xander, you were supposed to join this call. Then you said you have laptop issues. Now you just left. So you are no longer a bull. You were going to move you to be a guest bull for temporarily. Just kidding, Xander.
We love Xander.
We love you. Okay, so. We can't talk, okay? Just because we can hear you on Twitter, we can't hear you on. Okay, so his question is, the Netflix beat, and now they're up 14.5%. So they announced their earnings. It was a beat, and they're up 14.5%. Is that bode well for us tomorrow if we have a beat, and we all saying that we will?
Should be. I mean, earnings. They've been rewarding great earnings. We saw the banks. We saw, I think, Pepsi. Jeff maybe follows a little bit more than me. All the earnings, if they're beats, they're being rewarded to the upside. So Tesla here, again, a little tricky with the Twitter and Elon selling. It complicates it, but I think if they beat, I don't know why the stock would go lower because the stock's already been crushed. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it helps the market macro. It's going into Tesla earnings. If Netflix missed, you'd see a bunch of the NASDAQ selling off. You'd see a weight on Tesla. So I mean, it kind of goes both ways, but it's nice having, this continued earnings momentum because it actually helps EPS across, all of the companies is it actually turns into a macro item. So the fact that we've had some fairly decent earnings now starting in tech, I think is a good thing.
Yeah. So what do you guys hear about what happened with Twitter today, where I don't know if this is verified or not, but that they froze the Twitter employees from buying or selling their shares? It's like a potential indicator that there's going to be some deal that might happen. Do you think that it's timed like today that was announced that they did that because maybe tomorrow something? I don't know. I mean, or do you just who knows?
I don't know. Elon. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry, Christian. I would just say normally you're restricted from selling. I mean, there's 6 days from earnings. So normally there's a quiet period. I don't know if this is something different or not than their normal. I'm not sure. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I'll just take a non-scientific approach to it. I mean, Elon's been very playful on Twitter, right? He's got the Trump and Kanye with Parler.
That's
And
not
Trump
playful, buddy. I don't like it.
It's very playful.
That's not
He
playful.
seemed, well, okay, not playful. Whatever you want to say. Elon's having fun with it. So either he's come to a resolution, and remember that tweet, "Duh, ex machina," which
Yeah,
means,
well, let's cover that. Go ahead. Yeah, because
see, I came up with something to talk about.
no. I'm all prepared here, buddy. So it's not like you came up with it.
So, do ex machina, yeah. Does
Yeah,
anyone know?
all right.
Do you know what that means, Herbert?
Yeah, let me explain to people. I will do that. I'll explain it to people. So let's see. Here we go. So was it October 16th, which is 2 days ago? He tweeted out Deus ex machine, right? Machina, Deus ex machina. So what this means, it's a plot device whereby a seemingly unsolvable problem in a story is suddenly and abruptly resolved by an unexpected and unlikely occurrence. So that's interesting. It could be something that is unexpectedly able to solve an unsolvable problem easily. And then, but it also could be, Koguan Leo says he thinks is that mean Elon settled with Twitter? Is he fathering a new baby with Optimus? And then there is another movie, Ex Machina, in 2014, and it's about this robot that's it has consciousness, and it's called Ex Machina. So what is he referring to?
And there's one other quick point. FSD, right? This has been a problem that has been going on, and everyone thinks it's not solvable. Could it be something, a breakthrough? Now, maybe it's not going to be immediate, but did Elon see something with FSD that makes him even more confident than what he's already been? So I just throw that out there, but love to hear what Jeff has to say.
It's pronounced, how am I saying it? Machina.
Oh. Ex Machina. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Oh, Ex Machina. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
And
Thank you. Dave, thank you. Oh my God, I sound like an idiot. Holy shit, it's recorded.
Whatever it is,
Ex Machina. Such an idiot.
Yeah, we're just having some fun with it, but I mean, I would take it as something good's going to happen rather than something bad. But who knows? Who knows now with Elon?
Such an idiot. Such an idiot.
God, I just want this Twitter deal. Look, I want this Twitter deal done. Again, this is me put my business hat back on. I want the Twitter deal done. I want something to be resolved with it. I want to get focused back on the business, because as long as this is hanging around, the stock can't move because they're waiting. Does Elon got to sell? Even if the rest of the market goes, I could see Tesla just kind of sitting there waiting still as the other stocks rocket up. This needs to get resolved. We need to get this through. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't it the latest it will be resolved is November, first week of November? Correct?
I have no idea.
Well, no, yeah, because there's he's right. He's going to go to court. So, but it's most likely going to be solved pretty soon, and there's some little signals that it might actually be resolved very soon, that they'll come to an agreement. Okay, well, I think we're reading way too much on a lot of stuff. I mean, I guess that's part of the fun, right? We're always all just trying to read into all these little tiny tweets here and there.
Yes, owning Tesla stock is not easy. It's not easy if you're looking at this day to day, right? I understand we're long term, and it's not going to matter in the long term. But guess what? In the short term, it could be pretty painful. So there's a lot of people that are on the edge of their seats to see where it's going to go. The stock is not like at all-time highs. It's 50% or almost 50% from its all-time highs. So we don't want to dip down and go down 60, 70. I've already talked about that. I think that is not good for confidence. It's not good for the shareholder base. It's not good for anyone. So I would love to, stabilize the stock here with a great earnings. So what else you got, Herbert? You got anything else on your agenda?
Well, I mean, the other questions from that's going to be asked tomorrow. The next one is the 4680 cell ramp. What factors determine whether vehicles get 2170 versus 4680? Are we all? Is that 100% fact that the semis and Cybertrucks must have 4680, or could they create a 2170 variant of that? Or no, that's just not something that's going to happen.
I think that would be a tremendous amount of work to do. So I would say no, but you never know with Tesla. But I think they're depending on Cybertruck to be on the 4680. I think it was a really good news to see semis starting in Q4.
So it sounds like it's a binary scenario. It's either 4680 is going so well, it's caught up to what we were expecting that we're now able to launch Semi and Cybertruck on time, or we can't produce enough 4680s. These things are going to be trickling through, and they might show a prototype here, they might show a production here, but it won't be in large numbers until next year.
Yeah, I think this is a great question. I asked this on the last earnings call. It actually went up on the screen.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
And so I think it needs to come up until it's taken off the table. Like, where are you at with output versus your plan? Where are you at with yield? Because you'd like to know that they're not solving the output problem by just throwing tons and tons of CapEx at it, because then you have a cost structure issue. So you like to know output versus plan and yield versus plan as much as possible. At the end of the day, they may have to throw some more CapEx at it, but you'd like that they don't have to.
Yeah. So for people in the audience here, I don't know if you know, but somehow Jeff is very favored by Tesla for some reason. I don't know how you became friends with Martin Viecha. Did I spell his name? Viecha? Viecha. So there you go. That your question was asked last quarter, and then you were invited to the AI day, and you're not a tech guy. Why did you get invited? And because Martin knows you or something like that. So I don't know.
Can you? Pure luck.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're number 4 in your retail investor, right?
Don't leave this conversation without buyback. You got to talk buyback.
Okay, well, we'll get there. So so the next is Semi. We've talked about that already. And the final one is, you had said previously that FSD Hardware 4 will most likely come first in Cybertruck. Is that still the current plan? Do you expect there to be an upgrade path for Hardware 3 cars to Hardware 4? Why do people care about Hardware 4? I get the fact that all the hardware is going to be improved, but is that going to impact the stock? Is that going to impact FSD? I guess it does, and on the path to Robotaxi. But it seems to me that it's like, yeah, it's interesting, but is that an important question in an earnings call?
Yeah, to me, it's more of an investor day call, maybe, or an AI day call. For this, I mean, people want to know that the car they've bought, they've sold millions of them. They want to know the car that they've bought is upgradable. That's what they want to know. Or if they buy something tomorrow or take delivery in December, is it upgradable? And I think people were expecting a Hardware 4 update in AI day and didn't see it. So there's something must be coming. So it's a good question.
Sure. It's a good question. Yeah.
It's a day question or not.
Correct. Yeah. No, I agree. It's a good question. Everybody wants to know, but curious why it's in an earnings call. All right. So buybacks, it's all guesses on our parts, but what was your opinion on that, Jeff?
I found it was a little bit ironic. There's definitely split the community online. Do a buyback, don't do a buyback. I don't think it's that binary. I think there's ways you could stage buyback so it's not an all or nothing. It's not 10 billion tomorrow. There's a lot of flexibility companies can do with buyback. So I think announcing that shows confidence in your future earnings and in the company. So and I think there's a way Tesla can smartly manage their cash. I think this is a better use of cash possibly than Bitcoin. And they can more smartly manage that position to get confidence in the company, but also and kind of bolster it near term, and also manage it properly over time. So I think it's a good message. And again, they can rationally manage it. It's not like you have to go out of control and hit a button and hit 10 billion tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, great points. I echo them all. What I'll say about it is, I agree. The main thing, it's a floor. It's a confidence booster with management coming in saying, "Hey, our stock is cheap. We believe it's undervalued, and we'll come in the market and we'll set a floor." That's number one. It's not that it's going to rocket the stock. Number two, I think the main reason some bulls are split is because they remember Tesla back in the heyday when they were barely hanging on. Yeah. This is not the same company. This is a cash flow machine. They have 19 billion on the balance sheet. And like Jeff said, you could be flexible with this. You could announce it. You can do it when you want. You can put it in the treasury stock. If the stock rockets, you can there's just so much stuff you can do with it. And it's basically just sending like the message, like we believe in our company. We believe that our stock is so undervalued. It's the best return on investment. Like I've been saying too, like if you bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, why wouldn't you buy your own stock, right? That was a disaster, right? And they had to sell it, and there was losses. And if they didn't sell it in Q2, it would have been margins would have, like, it would just been a disaster. So I think it's a great way to show shareholders that we got your back, and that that we're going to buy back our stock. We need to.
Oh my gosh. Xander shows up on YouTube. It's a little late, buddy. You think that you're going to regain your CyberBull label just because you show up in the last 5 minutes? Say something smart.
Add me on.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you on Twitter. Oh, there you go. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yo, this call is going to be worse than Tesla's conference call, and that's hard to do. That's a joke.
Yeah. We're all over the place.
I feel better than
What's up?
Here he is.
What's up?
Oh my goodness! I think my Android's fixed itself. I can now not blame the laptop.
Why is you've been working on that yogurt shop for like 5 months and it's getting worse? Look at it. There's no more wall. It used to be a wall.
He tore the machines out, and now we're looking at woodwork. What's going
exactly? What the hell?
We're getting tiles done down here. We're getting work done. Waiting for cabinets. Waiting for inspections. But anyway, I missed all the fun.
Yeah, you did.
Give us your general take. What do you think, Xander? Going into the earnings, how do you feel? Are you nervous? I said I was a little nervous. How you feeling?
Not nervous at all. The damage has already been done, so as far as I see it, it can only go up from here. And I mean, I am very cautious about the downward pressure from the macro. So, but this Netflix beat is really feels really good, and it shows that money's sitting on the sideline to me, waiting for places to deploy. And if Tesla can guide, which I think they will, I think we'll have a really good, result tomorrow. Today was kind of interesting. It was very flat. It started out with a bang and then hit 230 and then dropped. So. But anyway.
So do you agree with what I was saying earlier, that it feels like a fork in the road for Tesla? Whatever happens tomorrow will kind of decide what's going to happen for the next 6 months, and if it's going to be continued punishment, or if it's going to be a potential rebound, or is it going to be flat, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, I feel exactly, and I've been saying it multiple times. It's a fork in the road is a good way to do it. It's where Wall Street is just setting it up. I watched a bunch of clips of Wall Street talking negatively about Tesla, sell it, all that, and that just tells me they're setting it up, and they're going to buy it. And with the credit rating upgrade, I think it's all the breadcrumbs lead to a recovery in my opinion.
Good stuff.
All right, so let's recap. Right, Twitter overhang is a real friggin' thing. I hate it. It is. It turned out to be a real thing. But hopefully in a month, if he is asked to sell 5 billion, or he needs 5 billion and he has to raise it from Tesla, it's going to be yet another hit, right?
Well, then there is. I mean, supply demand. The stock will go down because you got to sell.
Then there's a China demand issue that we all in this call, we believe at this point, many of us are still believing that there is no softening. We're going to hopefully not be surprised. Right? Then there's the massive recession, and the recession is going to happen. Is that going to impact Tesla in any way, or again, just expectations? What else am I missing? I mean, there's just so many things. His tweet today about it's crazy. I mean, like, why would he do it today?
Tim Cook as your CEO, Herbert. You wish you had Tim Cook back as your CEO.
No, I don't.
I know.
I agree with you. I got
to do some levity in here.
I agree with you. Elon's the the best CEO we could ever ask.
I'll be honest about it. Elon sometimes gets on my nerves. He gets on my nerves sometimes. I love him, but he gets on my nerves.
Okay. So we last minute. Let's go around. What's your predictions? You're hopeful, optimistic tomorrow? Yeah.
Yes. I'm not shaving anymore, Jeffrey. I'm not shaving. That's it.
That was going to be my first comment. I think that's very bullish.
I'm going to start one.
Okay.
I think
All
we
right,
should
guys.
all
Well,
do it, especially Herbert.
I can't. I cannot. Impossible. All right,
No, I'm
guys. Thank you
bullish.
very much.
Yeah, I'm bullish.
That's,
It's all about earnings and guide, and hopefully everything comes out good. Everyone out there, thanks for joining, and awesome show, Jeff. You were impeccable today. I couldn't have done it without you today. Herbert
Yeah,
would have
thanks
just
for
said, "You
holding
don't
it
know
down.
anything," you know.
He did.
And
He
Xander,
said we don't know anything. We're being demoted. Oh yeah,
no,
go back and listen, Herbert.
I
I
didn't
was
say
like,
you don't know
what?
anything.
What?
we're macro economists, astrologists, technical analysts. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Thank you,
Glad to have
guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
Awesome.
it. See
Bye.
everybody.
Peace.
Good
Bye,
luck.
Love
everyone. Good
Take
night.
care.